Greetings, friends, and welcome to the woods. I have been continually hearing talk about how the other side of the chessboard is forced to warn you because those are the rules before they do anything that may or may not be in your best interest. And I have spent, well, my lifetime studying both sides of the chessboard and trying to figure out what the rules are, if there are any rules. And I've spent the last couple years since that's been bantered around so much, trying to figure out exactly how that works. Because it doesn't make sense to me. If it were true that the other side of the chessboard had to warn us about everything, we would have some inkling, even if it was like a fantasy idea of what they're up to, and we really don't. There is a tremendous amount of activity, things that they do, that they have not spread a whisper of. Not in our news, not in our history, not in our entertainment, which is where I am told a lot of information is released. Now, my thinking is our side of the chessboard, we have people who are very intuitive. We have people who have vision. And at times, they see clearly what truly is in the world because they're bringing their information down from a space where deception just isn't involved. And those people get accused of being bad people because how would they know if they weren't in cahoots with the bad people who do these things or planned these things? H.G. Wells and the writer of Animal Farm, Orwell, and the writer of Strange New World, all of these things, they must have been in cahoots, right? Right? The person who put together The Simpsons and all of those prophecies, they must know. They must have bad people whispering in their ear and telling you need to put this out there so that... Okay, let's take a look at this. If it's true that they were wanting people to take part in creating, see, it is said that the other side of the chessboard does this because they can't create. We create. So they put this idea out there and we dream it and we vision it into reality. We use our energy. So they're push-pulling us to create reality in a way that they prefer. Now, if that's why this is happening, why is it that most, if not all, of the prophecies that are happening are not for their benefit? Why is it that so many of them are, for our side of the chessboard, are for things that help us, that we want to do and create? Now, you can selectively pick out the bad stuff and say, oh, they warned us about climate change, and then they did terraforming and they're changing the climate, and that's because they want us to live in a world that's full of pollution so that they have, more power over us. You could say that, or you could say that there were those who foresaw problems with the climate and put the warning out so that we could prepare and counteract that. If it was the other side, then why are the predictions evenly leveled good things to bad things? We remember the bad things quite often, the earthquakes and the Twin Tower events and all of the scary, horrible things, but it isn't always that. It's some very wonderful things as well. So I say inspiration, particularly art, good art, you're drawing it down from the higher planes and presenting it for other people to have different perspectives on things or inspirational things, ideas about... It won't be interesting if it doesn't give you other perspectives on your world. So people pull it down, but you're pulling it down from a space where time doesn't exist in the same way that we experience. It's not as linear. And so, yeah, you get things from the future and things from the past, and there very well could be people who are writing scripts who get whispers in their ear from people who are remote viewing or clairvoyant. And perhaps there is an intention to push things one way or another, but both sides are doing it. And again, the bad people, they don't have to warn you when they're going to do something against you. They don't have to. There's less of a karmic price if they do. If your supposed friend and ally says to you one day, I'm a really bad person and I'm going to mess you up. I'm going to stab you in the back. And you don't take it seriously because they were laughing. It was a joke. They didn't mean it, but they said it. If you don't pay attention to things like that, if you don't pay attention when people are drunk or high and they let things slip and they tell you things that maybe they wouldn't have told you if their editor was on. If you have people in your life who, in a very calculated ways, warn you when you're drunk or high, and they know that you're going to doubt that you heard it the next day, and you ignore that warning, yes, that can cause problems. Yes, when they do what they told you they were going to do, whether they were joking, whether they were drunk or high, regardless of whether they were angry when they said it, when they do it, the consequence for them is going to be much less. Because they told you you were going to do it. And did you do anything to stop them? Did you disassociate from them? Did you make allowances for the potential that they could betray you when they said that they might or they said that they would? We need to watch these things. Yes, there is a dynamic that when the plan is outlaid or the potential's outlaid, that you can move it forward then and it won't cost them as much as it would otherwise. Yes, that's a dynamic. But they don't have to tell you everything. And in a war, secrecy is one of the most valued. Because if you can blindside your enemy, you can get away with a lot more. You can do a lot more. You can win the war. They don't know you're coming. Something to think about. And welcome to the woods.